So 7C's basically is I'd say kind of the middle of my journey, my coaching journey and my professional journey. I started out really kind of wanting to understand how people worked about 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, coaching wasn't really kind of up and running as much as it is now. Now it's everywhere. Everyone wants to be a coach. It's a very popular
Mm.
profession. People can earn a very, very good living if they have good business skills and if they're a good coach and they get their marketing correct. So 30 years ago, this wasn't really the territory that wasn't out there. So for me, in wanting to understand how people worked and understand the structure of the subjective experience, so we could then facilitate that movement from where they are to where they want to get to, doing a degree in psychology seemed to be the best thing. So
Mhm.
I very much went down the psychology route, the so-called scientific route. And what this means is doing lots of examinations, lots of pen and paper type qualifications. And psychology in the West is quite reductionist, which means everybody wants that magic bullet. You know, what is the thing that makes it work? And what I've come to realize and what 7C's is a result of is discovering, guess what? There isn't one magic bullet. You know, coaching is a
Mhm.
process. It's a dynamic process between two people. And if we're doing group coaching, then obviously it's within the group. And if we're doing organizational coaching, it's within the organization. How do we get the organization or the group or the individual to actually align internally and externally? And one of the first things which I discovered was when people change the context, they themselves fundamentally change as a person. So
Yeah.
very often the coaching conversation is in each of these contexts identifying, you know, what is ideal for us. And at the neurological level of behavior and capability, what is it that we can do and how is it that we can do those things to instill those in our neurology so they become habitual. And that's when we begin to get into a flow state because we recognize these behaviors are beneficial for us as an individual system and obviously us within our social system and for the key
Mhm.
stakeholders of people who we know very, very well. So health is something which is very, very important. And if it's not something which is overtly brought up, when one coaches from a 7C's perspective, one will always find some way of actually just bringing it into the conversation just to actually tick boxes. So the thing is that when you're truly authentic and you're in love with what you're doing, you're going to persist even when the naysayers come along, even when things go wrong, even when you do experiments and they don't work out. That's not going to bother you because
Mhm.
your relationship with yourself in the context of what you're doing is authentic, it's congruent, and you have
Mhm.
confidence. If you
Yeah.
don't have that emotional state, and if you can't sustain that emotional state when everything goes wrong, then you're not going to be successful. So the
Mhm.
important thing about having this authenticity and being able to actually talk from your belly almost, talk from your most visceral part of yourself about what it is that you're doing with
Mhm.
enthusiasm. Unless you can do that, what you're doing and setting about isn't going to be sustainable. So that's the reason I always dig a little bit deeper if I sense there's a lack of ecology when someone's talking about what they want to do in these contexts. As a result of that state, it's what is it that you're doing in the real world for yourself and for other people? And what results are you getting? So it's no
Mhm.
good at the end of a coaching conversation if it's a bit like a kind of, you know, a spa day out or a party and everyone says, "Oh, I've had such a fantastic time. This has been so groovy." You know,
Yeah.
that's not the point. The point is, how are you now behaving in the world in the context that you brought to coaching, and what responses are you getting from people in the world in that
Mhm.
context? And are those responses taking you closer to your well formed outcome or further away from your well formed outcome? That's the key question to ask with 7C's coaching, not whether or
Yeah.
not you're in a good state. Being in a good state is a part of the result, but the thing is, unless that translates into an evidence based realization, that you're achieving what you want to achieve in your coaching intervention, and this wasn't possible before, then you're missing the point in the coaching intervention.
Wasn't that absolutely fantastic? I'm sure that you found a lot of information in this very short video you just saw, maybe like 4 or 5, 6 minutes, however long it was. But that is not all. You can have access to the entire presentation of this amazing speaker, plus 40 more other presentations and speakers, and you can have access for life. You can have access to the video recording, to the audio recording, to the swipe files, to the transcripts, to all of the bonuses and the special gifts that all of the speakers and presenters and also the organizers are offering in the Premium Pass package. So if you like this, if you want more, make sure to sign up below for the Premium Pass and have lifetime access to everything. I'm sure it'll be one of the best investments you've ever made in your life, in yourself, in your practice, in your health, and also with working with clients. So go ahead, click on the button below, sign up for the Premium Pass, and we'll see you on the other side.